what's shaking, guys? I wanted to show you what has been one of the biggest efficiency boosters that I have done in a long time. You can see here, I've got this incredible white oak coffered ceiling up above me here, and I've got a whole platform built so that I could work off of it when I was doing this ceiling. Basically what I did is I just set up 2 runs of scaffolding, a 10-foot section and a 7-foot section. So I've got 17 feet of length on both sides. And then I took some 2x6 16-foot, laid them on the flat up here, and then a bunch of sheets of 4x8 by 1/2 inch OSB. Then we built another wall down the middle just to stiffen it up a little bit in the middle. Just giving you a quick look around here. As you can see, I've got my saws set up top up here. Can just hop right up the ladder on the side right here. And then that allowed me to work on this beautiful ceiling right up at a gentleman's height. By the way, guys, drop a comment down below on how many man hours you think I had in this ceiling and how much you think we had in material costs for this ceiling. I will tell you, ceilings like this are not cheap. Now, we started off this ceiling by installing 7-inch white oak nickel gap. And this platform was a huge labor saver because we were able to pre-sand our material and then stage it right up here and cut it to fit right on the saw up on top of the flat platform. That saved a huge amount of labor given the quantity of pieces that we had inside these boxes. So then the next huge labor saver was on all of these beams. Basically, all of these beams are on a continuous plane. So they're all flushed out across the bottom. There's no reveals. That means they all have to be scribed in place perfectly. Now, this ceiling was out about 3/4 of an inch or so, so there was a fair amount of scribing. And it's just extremely important that everything be extremely tight on a stain grade install like this. So what I opted to do was basically make my work area up here. Now on these longer through beams, I scribed them and then I actually cut the scribe with a circular saw and then finished with a block plane. And that worked good for the longer sections, but then I have a bunch of these shorter sections which are about 4 foot long. So a lot shorter pieces, easier to scribe. And for that, I used the table saw. So all I had to do was stage my material up here. I would get it cut to the proper length, get it positioned in place, mark my scribe, and then take it down right here. And I would rip all of my scribes at about 10 degrees on the table saw and then just lightly finish up the line with a block plane. It also worked out great because I was able to have my sander up here as well, plop a couple lights on the platform here, and get everything scribed and cut in place nice and crispy. Now you'll notice along here, we've got some serious angles and some very small pieces that had to be fit in place. I found that when fitting these smaller pieces in place, it worked best to put the piece up and tack it in place long and then use a pencil to mark across the top to get the precise cut line. The reason being, this tray is a rectangle, but the layout is symmetrical. So that made everything off about 3 degrees from square. So even these that look like they would be square cuts, they're actually like 3 degrees. So it's much easier to scribe all these in place. So basically what I would do on these bottom pieces is I would take them, the orientation that they were gonna be, I would have the outside and inside marked where it was supposed to go and just pretend there's no beam here. I would essentially put it in place, stick my pencil up above it, and then mark the cut line on both sides. And then I would cut to that. Rather than trying to find an angle and cut it on the saw to an angle, it's just a lot more accurate just to mark and then cut. But because I had this scaffold platform built up here, it was extremely fast to mark and then move down to the saw, make my cuts, and then I'm right here again to put the piece back up versus going up and down would have added so much time. So that was also the same scenario on these, on these longer cuts right here. I could put the piece in place and then just scribe that cut as well. And it made, as you can see, for some very, very accurate cuts. Everything is nice and tight and crispy. Find that this moves around a lot as you're up here walking on it. So next time I do this, I'm going to clamp the ends to the scaffolding. That way it holds all of these sheets nice and tight together so that they aren't moving around. Just a second ago, as you can see, they start to work apart, and then they about come off of the 2x, and then it's kind of a tripping or a fall hazard. You can see this one right here actually came off of the 2x, but I've been working up here for quite a while, and I've just had to constantly be going back around and pulling them in, and it's a little bit dangerous. So I'll clamp them down on the corners next time. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to show you guys this before I took the whole platform down. I would have loved to have done an in-depth video on how to do a ceiling like this, but we're at the very end of this job and I am just ready to get out of here, and it would have added a lot of time to the whole process of doing this ceiling. So maybe next time, maybe never. You don't get huge white oak ceilings like this every day. It's a pretty incredible ceiling, but wanted to show you this for what it's worth. Super thankful to be able to do work like this, and I'm very thankful how everything turned out. Everything's scribed nice and tight. Everything's flushed out really evenly, level the whole way around. We've got this perimeter band detail, and then the drywall mutters will come back and they'll tape up to the back side of this 4/4 board that sticks down about 1 inch below the drywall. So overall, extremely happy, but ready to get this down and get out of here. If you want to be an elite level carpenter, I believe you have to obsess over motion. You have to think about, where can I save footsteps? Where can I save motion in this process? Because if you can do that, you're going to be getting the same amount of work done in less time. That means you're more efficient. That means you're making more money. I really found that on a ceiling like this, it was an absolute no-brainer to build a platform like this. It actually doesn't take that long to set up the platform, but the amount of trips up and down the scaffolding that it saved was amazing on a ceiling like this. Not all ceilings are going to be this way. I've done countless coffered ceilings with more of a standard scaffolding setup, and it works just fine. But once you get into a duration where you're going to be up there a really long time, it makes a ton of sense to do this. There is also something to be said for an increase in quality by setting up a platform like this. We're always racing against the clock, and if you're going to install a piece and it doesn't fit just quite right, you might be more willing to settle for that imperfect fit if you have to jog all the way back down to the saw again. Whereas if that saw is just 5 feet away from you and it's up on a platform and it's only going to take seconds to tweak that cut just a little bit, you're going to be more likely to do that. That's just the reality of it. So there is an increase in quality in setting up a platform like this. Hopefully in the future I'll get the chance to do a more in-depth build video on a ceiling like this, but honestly, this was the last thing I had to do on this house, and I was just ready to get it done and get packed up and get out of there. So I'm really happy with how the house turned out. I'm really happy with this ceiling. Hope you guys enjoyed this little video, and we'll see you on the next one.